Hey guys, Bill Dusty here, and this is going to be a quick little video about fixing the landing gear and what kind of little options you have. Quick and easy options, very affordable, that you can take advantage of if by chance you happen to lose or damage the landing gear on your, well, economy RC plane. Now, I bought this plane a few months back. This is a Cessna 182, otherwise known as the F949. And WL Toys makes this. And this is a really nifty little beginner RC airplane. I did do a review for this plane earlier, and you can look that up on my channel. But after flying this a while, what happened was I was flying around in a soccer field in a nearby town, and I don't know what happened, but I landed it a few times in the grass, and the last time that I took off with this on that particular day, I flew it around and then I landed it, and when I went over to pick it up, I noticed that it was missing the nose landing gear. This is a nose landing airplane, a nose landing gear type of aircraft. It was missing the nose landing gear, and here on the rear part, it was missing this landing gear right here. Excuse me, this wheel right here on the rear landing gear. So I made an initial check around where I had landed it to see if maybe the wheels had fallen off, on the landing itself. I couldn't find anything, so I'm not really sure what the heck could have happened. This wheel itself has a cap on it right there, so that must have fallen off or come loose on one of the previous landings. You're not going to smooth land a plane in the grass. That's not going to happen. So maybe it came loose, and maybe it came loose on other days. I don't know, but I lost the wheel, and that was that, and I couldn't find the nose landing gear. So that was the end of that. And initially, in the days that followed, I tried looking for replacement gear on Amazon and a couple other places, but I couldn't find anything that was just the landing gear for this. Eventually, in the ensuing 2 or 3 weeks, I just flew it without the landing gear, and it flies just fine without the landing gear at all. And this thing is so light, if you're flying this in a grassy field, it really doesn't matter. You don't actually need the landing gear at all. In fact, it just gets in the way when you're trying to land it. So if you don't have the landing gear on this thing, it works perfectly fine. But anyway, I still wanted landing gear for when I take off on parking lot surfaces and things like that, or land on them. So what I did was I thought of another plane that I had bought and reviewed. It was a poor review for the plane. It just didn't fly well, and it's right here. It's one of those rubber band planes. Okay, and it didn't fly that well. Well, let me put it this way. I couldn't get it to fly well, so maybe the pilot was the problem. But I couldn't get the fly well. This thing originally came with landing gear on it. Just a standard little 2 landing gear thing. And so I figured, hey, maybe I can use that as a replacement. And then what I would actually have to do, though, is change this Cessna from a nose lander to a tail lander, or a tail dragger type of plane. So I took the landing gear off of this, and by the way, taking the landing gear off of this has had no effect on its flight characteristics to any notable degree. I couldn't get it to fly that well to begin with, but I chucked it around as a glider without winding it up, and it flew the same as it did before. I couldn't really notice any kind of difference. So now this plane does not have landing gear on it. I don't really use it, so it doesn't really matter. I just bought it for the review. And now I put it on the nose of this plane. Now, a couple of things I want to note. First of all, on this plane here, the hookup is a little different. It comes in at an angle, at a 90-degree angle, like that, and that's how it hooks in. And obviously you can't do it on here, so I had to bend the little adapter area straight. I had to bend that straight to get it in, and that's how I was able to just insert it into the nose insertion area here, and get that in there. And then what I did was I grabbed a little piece of plastic as a spacer. It was pretty loose in here, didn't fit very tightly, so I put a little spacer in there, and then I put some hot glue around the whole assembly there, and that secured it in quite well. And as you can see, these are just little cheapo plastic wheels, but you know what, they get the job done. And the other thing I want to mention, the second thing I want to mention about this is, normally the landing gear for a tail dragger would not be this far ahead. Okay, it would probably be more towards underneath the wing, more towards the center of gravity here. But obviously, because of the battery case right here, I couldn't do that. So I had to keep it right where the nose was, and it worked out because that's where the adapter is anyway. And this right here in the back was where the rear landing gear used to go. I no longer use that, so that's not there. So as you know, when it lands, the wheels are a little, more forward than they should be. And then on the back here, what I did was, because I'm making a tail dragger, I took a paper clip and I cut it because I didn't need the whole thing, and then I bent the exposed end, I guess. I don't know what you call it, but I bended that around to make it more, like a bouncy type of deal there instead of a jagged end. And then I inserted that, and then I hot glued that in too. Now, it's probably possible, and it probably wouldn't have hurt anything too much if I flew it in grass, to use just the styrofoam little nub right there. However, I considered, since I was probably going to be taking off on pavement, I wanted some kind of buffer between the tail here and this controller right here, because that's right there, and I don't know if you can get the sideways view, but it's right level with that, and so if it came in hard or hit, I didn't want to damage this. So that's the reason that I really added this. Okay, so, but you know what, I took it out and I flew it around. I took it off from the parking lot. I landed it. It works perfectly fine, no problems at all. And I think the primary reason I got away with this is because it is in fact a cheap, it's a 3-channel, I don't want to say cheap, it's affordable. It's a 3-channel, and it's got the wings here that allow it to stay stable and all that in flight, and so that I'm sure all those factors figured into this being able to go from a nose to a tail, no problem. It takes off just fine. It lands just fine. And I just wanted to show you this because that is an alternative. You don't necessarily have to get the same landing gear or even the same landing gear configuration for your plane if you want to put wheels back on it. And so that's it for this little video. Just wanted to show you how I fixed my little Cessna 182. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching it. If you liked it, give it a like. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to you next time.